I did this last night, and then I like got 5 minutes into it and found out I didn't have audio. So this time I'm gonna do my best to check that right away, not waste anybody's time. Popped right up. Hey, there's actually audio. Okay. Well, that's better than no audio. I'm just gonna accept that. Um, I know it doesn't sound perfect, but I guess I don't expect it to. I got this little microphone right here. I hope that it doesn't sound, like I said, horrible. Didn't sound too good on there. I'll try to be kind of quiet. I don't know. I usually am too quiet, so all that aside, I have something to talk about. Today, I want to talk about comic books. I got a bunch of examples right next to me here. One that I just picked up. It's Teen Titans Right to Fight. Oh, I'm sorry. It's actually called It's Our Right to Fight. I want to tell a couple of stories today that related to the comic books that I got. Not the actual stories in the comic books, but stories about the comic books. So, I don't really have a script. I just want to talk. Where to begin? There's a train going by right now. Apparently, there's two people here. Hey, yeah, I know. I messed up last night. It's okay. I'm back. A little nervous. I can hear the train right now. I don't know if it's picking it up. I kind of wanted to wait a second and I'll get started. It's probably not bad. Teen Titans, It's Our Right to Fight. It's funny that this is one of the first comics I got because it's also one of the first comics that how do I say? Me and my friend, right? I didn't get into comic books. My friend was into comic books. He was like, I don't even know how old he would have been. We would have been like teenagers at this time. We were little degenerates, so we were smoking weed. We were running around the mall doing dumb shit. It wasn't really a mall, it's a strip mall, but Barnes and Noble was there. And my friend was like, yo, comic books are cool. Let's go sit in the Barnes and Noble and just read comic books. You don't even have to buy anything. You could just read them. And I was like, that sounds like a great idea. Even though I didn't like comics, I fucked with the artwork in comics. And it wasn't that I didn't like them, I just didn't have any. So I sat down with them. I would be sitting there scrolling through them, just enjoying it. There wasn't really enough time to read a full comic sitting in Barnes and Noble like that, but there was enough time to scroll through every single page and find the little security tag. And I was like, again, a little degenerate. So I found that little security tag, people that joint out, and we were running around with our book bags and shit. Yeah, no one was watching us. I slipped one comic book in my bag, and then like that, it just slipped another one in my bag. And we had a couple like that. Me and my friend both got like maybe three or four, and we were like super excited about that. We counted them up. We looked at the backs of them, like how much money do we technically just make? And we literally, I was hyped. I won't lie to you. I'm not saying this so that you go steal. I'm saying this because I didn't own a comic before that, and these were the first couple that I had ever got. And they're also the first couple that I had ever read. I wasn't really like into them before that. And then we got a couple, like I had my own, and shit, I actually loved them. That was when I was willing to put my own money to it, but before that, I didn't even have a job. I was just kind of like mooching off my friend for weed and then literally stealing comic books. Degenerate time, like I said. This one that I got, Teen Titans It's Our Right to Fight, and this one, Flashpoint. This one I knew was iconic. This one I'd never really heard of. I just thought it looked cool. But I'm like actually in love with both of these stories now, and I couldn't see myself getting rid of them, though I have lent these out to other people. But I think that the stories are so cool, like shit. Why not share them? Moving on to the next one here. Me and my friend, like I said, we were really into Batman. Well, I said comic books earlier, but he specifically was really into Batman, and he taught me. Dude's cool. He put me onto this one series here. 52, Batman the Court of Owls. This series is awesome. Like, if you are not into comics and you wanted to be, this is a great place to start. One of the places that I started, like I said, my friend put me on, started that series, I got into it. There's actually like 10 volumes of it, and the one that I'm holding in my hands has a little story tied to it because I only got to this comic whenever I was getting surgery. And before that, I'd like seen this comic on a shelf and I was like, yo, why does Batman look all skinny? And he was like, oh, you don't even know. That's Jim Gordon Batman. Jim Gordon Batman's crazy. Yeah, you know, the police commissioner. They put him in a Batman suit, and it's actually a really good storyline. Batman has amnesia at the time, and the city wants a new symbol, so like, it makes sense. Jim Gordon in his crazy ass mech suit, he gets a haircut. It's a whole thing. But I didn't get to the story until I was in literally like, how do I put this? I had 6 weeks where I couldn't do shit. I had a jaw surgery, and this is a whole different story, but I'm just giving you the fucking shorthand here. I had jaw surgery. I was restricted in my bed. I didn't even want to watch TV. I was so bored and at the same time in pain. I couldn't focus on anything and I couldn't be distracted. It was just horrible. This thing, after like maybe a week of sitting in pain, was the first thing I picked up. I can't remember any of the. Well, that's not true. This was the first thing I picked up. After that, there's stuff I can remember. But after all that pain, I looked down at my comic books that I thought I would be reading on the first night. And I just did not have the energy for. And I was like, let me finally find out about Jim Gordon Batman. And yeah, I'm not going to tell you this story, but it's awesome. Like, my friend, I'm glad he didn't spoil it for me, but just saying literally, you don't know, is enough to tell someone. You should learn. This one is called Batman Super Heavy. Again, as a part of the New 52. I think that sounds right. He's got to be in the same series. The hardcover. This next one I got, Daredevil, Guardian Devil. This shit, how do I even describe it? I'm like, the story itself is insane, but its meaning to me is more than that. Like, Guardian Devil was one of the first stories that I had read after, like, watching the Daredevil TV show. So, like, I got super into the superhero. I fucking loved everything about him, but I had not read a single comic. And I go down to the comic store, my grandma would go down to the salon, and then there was a comic store right next door. So I would go there, and she would get her hair done, give me $20, and I'd pick out a comic book. Thank God for grandma, because that was how I found this one. I didn't hear about it online. I didn't know it existed. I was just looking at the shelf, and I was like, yo, Guardian. Picked it up. I had enough money. It was $19.99, and yeah. Fuck. like I said, I cannot explain how lucky I felt. And just recently, I lent this comic out to somebody. I wasn't sure they were going to bring it back. Like, they literally had it for like months at a time. And I asked them, I was like, hey, you read that yet? You get to that comic book? Nah, it's just sitting on my coffee table. I wasn't mad at the dude, but I was like, I really want that comic book back. But it's such a good story, I want you to read it. So I just kept asking him, you read that comic book yet? You read that comic book yet? Eventually, he finally told me. I read that comic book last night. I was so fucking gassed, bro. I didn't realize how much I'd miss it when I lent it out. This story, like, I don't even know how to. I keep saying that because there are literally no words. Losing this book wouldn't have ruined that for me. I would have had to replace it though, because it's something that I plan to hold on to for the rest of my life. It changed mine. Shit. Yellow free. Does it look bad? I didn't really think about the lighting. I can make it brighter. just on here talking about comic books. I don't really have a plan. I was gonna do this last night at like 3 a.m. and then I started and there was no audio, so I just quit. I was like, "That's a sign. We're not doing it tonight." But it's okay. I got one more, well, technically two more. One more story, two more comics that represented me. I kind of rushed through this, but it's okay. My computer's probably gonna die soon. I got 25 minutes on the battery. This is Batman Dark Knight's Metal. Maybe it's not even Batman. Maybe it's just Dark Knight's Metal. I don't know. Comic books are weird. There's a whole line of the Dark Knight's comics, like, or maybe it's the Metal storyline. Again, comic books are weird, but they all kind of relate and tie together, and it's all one big comic event. And me and my friend were trying to collect them all. We kept reading one after another, like finding them the same way we were all our other comics, you know. And I'm not going to pull all the examples out, but there's like 7 different versions, like issues of, how do you put this? Comic books are weird. This is a collection comic. Inside this book is a bunch of little books. They just put them all together. That's a collection comic. Then, for an event, there's like 10 of these, and they all are one story, but from different perspectives. All the different heroes get their own different comics. So, yeah, me and my friend were trying to collect them all. This guy is one of the 4 that I own, but I never collected them all. Me and my friend would just share them, and then I'd get to read like his half, he'd get to read my half. We put out the whole story. It was sick. I didn't actually read them all though. This is what it looks like to have a whole comic event in one book. This is the War of the Realms. This one's Marvel, but um, the reason I have this one as an example is because my friend came over to my house. He was looking at all my comic books because, like I said, he was collecting them before I ever was. But then I started collecting them crazy because I really loved them. Shit, I got a bookshelf and all this stuff, so I had a really easy time filling this out. My dad helped me. Just so many people gave me gifts. I'm literally very lucky. This one though I got for myself. Found it on sale. And when my friend came over and saw the giant fucking comic book, which I had never seen one this big before either, he said, "Bro, you always have the cool stuff. Why do you always have the cool stuff?" And I was like, shit. And right there, I made a decision. I gotta give my friend something really cool. And like I said, these ones, the Dark Knight Metal storyline, fucking awesome. I really wanted to read it anyway. So, shit. I saw another big ass comic book online, except it was a different event. Got that shit for my friend. I was so gassed, and I knew that he would love it. And of course, when he opened it, it was a full circle moment from my friend putting me on to comic books and me being like, I don't even really know about Batman or any of this stuff, and he just told me this is cool, check it out. You know, let's go to Barnes and Noble. And I was like, damn, you think I have the coolest stuff? I got, I gotta make up, and I feel like I did. You know, this version or this event is my favorite character. This is Daredevil. Well, actually, it's a Thor comic. It's a bunch of Thor comics, and I'm sure there's some Daredevil ones in there too. It's a collection of an event, so it collects all of these. There's so many down there. I know you can't read them, but this is my favorite superhero, like super event. Daredevil gets superpowers. It's a whole thing, but I'm not talking about him right now. Batman was my my friend's favorite hero. So when I got him that, I knew he was gonna love it because Batman is the center focus of the Dark Knight's whole. It's actually the Batman who laughs, if you know about that. But again, comics are weird. If you know about them, you probably know about everything I'm talking about. If you don't know about them, this is gibberish. I wanted to say for 300 subscribers, because that's pretty cool. I used to dream of making YouTube videos, and I didn't know I'd ever really actually get to do it like this. Like thinking of achieving that to me is achieving my dreams. And I've been thinking that for a little bit about a lot of stuff. Like I have so many comic books that I dreamed of it as a kid. I literally got a couple that I stole from the store and was like, "This is awesome, bro. It'd be awesome to have a store like a whole shelf just like Barnes and Noble." And now I got it. I got the shelf. It happened. So I like to I want to pay that forward. And I have so many that I'd be donating them to the library, but I'll be honest with you, who knows if those kids are reading them. So I think it'd be really cool if you have a favorite superhero and you jump into the Discord and tell me about it, or even just comment on this video, though it's going to be kind of hard to do the whole back and forth communication in YouTube comments. Um, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Let's make it official. Join the Discord. Tell me about your favorite superhero if you have one. And if I have a comic book that relates to it, I want to send it with your permission, of course. Not all of my comic books are going to be for sale. For sale. I'm not selling them. I'm giving them away. Not all of my comic books are going to be up for grabs because some of them, like I said, are very sentimental to me. But there's a whole stack on my dresser right now that I would love to give away. So if you are interested, you like superheroes, or you want to get into them, please let me know. You got to jump into the Discord at me or whatever the fuck and just let me know about what you like. That's it. Thanks again for 300 subscribers. Thanks for listening to me talk. I hope it didn't sound bad. Sorry if I was yellow for most of it, but hey, we up now. um, I don't think I have anything else to say, so I'm just gonna I'm going to see Weird Al tonight. I'm pretty psyched about that. Peace.